This has been a magical season for Hawaii as they head into one of their biggest matchups of the season against UNLV on Friday. When Timmy Chang arrived as head coach, the program was in a really bad place. Former head coach Todd Graham basically burned the thing to the ground. June Jones was supposed to take over with Chang as head coach in waiting, but that would fall apart last minute, and Timmy was thrown into the fire needing to sink or swim as a first-time head coach. But like he did when he was the starting quarterback, he helped turn things around and rebuilt this program. Hope is back on the island, and I am so happy I get to make this video again. This is how Timmy Chang saved Hawaii football. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know what your favorite college football story has been in the comment section below. Hawaii football hit rock bottom under head coach Todd Graham back in 2022. Although they made a bowl game in 2020 and 2021, the latter of which would be cancelled, Graham would basically destroy the program due to the culture he built. Players came out and spoke about the verbal and mental abuse they faced under the coach, leading to a mass exodus of players to the transfer portal. They watched as 19 players transferred during this, all including Hawaii native and starting quarterback Chevin Cordero, who transferred to San Jose State. Athletic director David Matlin and Graham released a statement on December 28th about the portal losses, saying it had become an unfortunate reality of college football. Players and parents took to the state senate, blasting Graham, and it was a terrible look for the school and Graham himself. The players said they were leaving because they did not believe UH could afford to buy Graham out. In January of 2022, Graham would resign as head coach, finishing with an 11-11 record. A program that was coming off a 10-5 season in 2019 under head coach Nick Rolovich was now burning to the ground because of Graham. As Chris Vanini from The Athletic wrote back in 2022, the Hawaii job is one of the most unique in all of American sports. After Nick Rolovich left following the 2019 season, players said they wanted another coach who appreciated Hawaiian culture and was personable. Graham was not that. He basically was the total opposite. The names that were mentioned to be looked at for the job included BYU special teams coordinator Ed Lamb, BYU defensive coordinator Ilyasa Tuiaki, former Washington State offense coordinator Brian Smith, and Syracuse offense coordinator Robert Anai. Instead, the job would go to former quarterback Timmy Chang. Chang was a Hawaiian legend who was a 2000 #1 rated recruit, choosing Hawaii over Cal, Utah, and USC. His parents wanted him to go to the mainland for college, but Timmy wanted to stay home, explaining, "I really kind of fought them on that. I told them, I feel like there's more opportunity here. I want to live here after college, and if I'm going to live here, I should play for the home state." While at Hawaii, he set the NCAA Division I career passing record with 17,072 yards and 117 touchdowns under the tutelage of June Jones. Chang's pro career took him to the mainland in the NFL, to Europe in NFL Europe, and to Canada in the CFL. He then went into coaching after finishing his bachelor degree at Hawaii. He served as a grad assistant under June Jones at SMU. He was Jackson State's offense coordinator and quarterback coach before becoming OC at Emory and Henry. He then served as an assistant at Nevada before returning home to be the head coach at his alma mater. Chang was the opposite of Graham in the fact that he represented the island. His elementary school was less than a mile away from his coaching office, and his high school, St. Louis School, was even closer. He was even the ball boy for Hawaii when he was 5. He was not just the coach of the school, he represented the state and had to rebuild the program with its dated on-campus facilities, paltry budget, and lack of clarity about a permanent stadium. He told ESPN leading into his first game against Vanderbilt in 2022, "When I played, it felt like I put a state on my back, and now I tell the kids, the state needs you to make that block. The state's relying on you. They understand. It's bigger than me. It's for this whole community. All 8 islands. That's kind of what makes coaching here really special, especially when you're born and raised here." Chang was originally supposed to be the coach in waiting with the returning June Jones. When that fell apart, Chang needed to learn on his own how to build the program up. With the major rebuild, things would be rough as they would go 3-10 in his first season. They followed that up with a 5-8 season in 2023, just missing out on a bowl game as they won 3 of their last 4 games of the season. 2024 saw them finish 5-7, just missing out on a bowl game, again after losing a heartbreaker to UCLA in week 1 of the season, losing 2 of their last 3 games of the season, but there was hope as true freshman Micah Alejado would start the season finale against New Mexico, throwing for 469 yards and 5 touchdowns, and rushing for 54 yards on the ground, becoming the first UH quarterback to throw for 450 plus yards and rush for 50 plus yards in a game. while tallying the 10th best total offensive performance of 523 yards in school history. His 523 yards were the second most in the FBS in 2024, and he broke the Hawaii record for single-game passing yards and touchdowns by a freshman, along with a slew of other records as well. It was hard to tell if Chang was on the hot seat heading into the 2025 season, but at the same time, there was a lot of hope. Alihado would take the reins of the offense, replacing former starting quarterback Braden Schrager, while they also returned Pofele Ashlock, who had 83 receptions in 2023 and battled injuries in 2024. They added Jackson Harris from Stanford and Brandon White from Kentucky as well. There are questions around their offensive line, but they returned veteran center Ethan Spencer. On defense, they had a loaded linebacker room with Jamin Otis and Logan Taylor. At safety, they returned back star Peter Manuma, as well as cornerback Verdell Edwards. Like on the offense, there were question marks around the defensive line. They were projected to win 5.5 games according to College Football News, while Phil Steele projected them to finish 6th in the Mountain West. Hawaii started the season off with a huge 23-20 win over Stanford during Week 0, and also showed off their future superstar quarterback Micah Alihado, who threw for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns while also rushing for 36 yards on the ground, all while playing on one leg. He would go down awkwardly on a sack in the third quarter and would not be able to put much weight on the foot for the rest of the game. That would not stop him from leading Hawaii to a comeback win to start the year off 1-0. While Stanford has not had the best season this year, it still was a huge win, giving the team a lot of momentum early in the season. It also helped them pull off a Power 4 win after just falling short in 2024 against UCLA. Unfortunately, Alihado would miss a handful of games due to the injury in the season opener. He tried to power through it against Arizona, but struggled, throwing for 157 yards and an interception as the Rainbow Warriors fell to the Wildcats 40-6 on the road. Luke Weaver would also get some playing time, throwing for 66 yards and 2 interceptions in the Arizona game. Weaver would get the start against Sam Houston, which Hawaii would win 37-20 behind Weaver's 294 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Ashlock would finish that game with 7 receptions for 125 receiving yards. The defense also came up big in the game, with Giovanni Iovino returning an interception for a 41-yard touchdown. Hawaii would then beat Portland State 23-3 in Weaver's second start, as he threw for 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. The defense dominated the game, holding the Vikings to 230 total yards of offense and only a field goal late in the third quarter. It was the first time Hawaii kept an opponent out of the end zone since 2019. Alihado would return from injury against rival Fresno State in the Battle of the Golden Screwdriver to open up Mountain West play. In what looked to be the last game of the amazing rivalry, the Rainbow Warriors would fall short 23-21. They would take a halftime lead 9-7 as the Bulldogs kept the Hawaii offense out of the end zone until late in the fourth quarter. The defense would force a safety and return a fumble for a touchdown, while Kansai Matsuzawa kicked 2 important field goals. Alihado would find Blaze Kemaku for a 10-yard passing touchdown with 10 seconds left, would be unable to convert on the 2-point conversion to force overtime. Hawaii was now sitting at 3-2 on the season, while Fresno State moved to 4-1 under first-year head coach Matt Entz. They then traveled to Colorado Springs to take on Air Force, where fireworks would occur in the fourth quarter. Hawaii would enter the fourth quarter up 31-14, would hold on to win 44-35, as 41 points were scored between the two teams. The offense exploded for 535 total yards, a team record under Chang, as Alihado threw for 457 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, rebounding from his season-worst 3 interceptions against Fresno State. They would get a bye before hosting Utah State to open up October play. Hawaii would enter the fourth quarter only up 27-26, would score 17 unanswered points to win in blowout fashion 44-26, snapping their 8-game losing streak to Utah State. It was their first win over the Aggies since 2010. Alihado became the first Bows quarterback to finish with back-to-back 400-yard passing games since Cole McDonald, as he threw for 413 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception, completing a pass to 11 different receivers. Ashlock led the team with 8 receptions for 113 yards and 3 touchdowns. Hawaii was now sitting at 5-2, matching their best win total under head coach Timmy Chang. They then traveled to Fort Collins to take on a struggling Colorado State team. Hawaii never trailed against the Rams, winning 31-19 behind their 435 yards of total offense. The defense held the Rams to 261 total yards and 85 rushing yards, which was half their season average. It was the first time Hawaii was bowl eligible under Chang, and their first time since 2021 as they moved to 6-2 on the season. Following the second bye week of the season, they would be shocked by San Jose State, 45-38. They would enter halftime down 31-14, While they outscored the Spartans 24-14 in the second half, would not be enough. The two teams combined for 1,100 total yards of offense, as neither team played much defense. Hawaii would then pull off a shocking win against San Diego State, right after I released a video on the Aztecs a few weeks ago. The Rainbow Warriors would dominate them 38-6 on Oahu, basically eliminating the Mountain West from college football playoff contention. They shut out the Aztecs in the second half as Alejandro threw for 256 yards and 3 touchdowns, making it his 5th straight game with 3 passing touchdowns. It also brought Hawaii back into the conference title picture. They are now sitting at 7-3 overall and 4-2 in conference play, heading into a huge game against UNLV on Friday night. The Rainbow Warriors are currently tied with Boise State, Fresno State, UNLV, and New Mexico for second place in the Mountain West. San Diego State leads the conference with a 5-1 conference record. New Mexico and San Diego State play to close out the season, but other than that, UNLV and Hawaii are the only 4-2 teams that are left to play each other. Win out and get some chaos, and the Rainbow Warriors might find themselves in the conference title game. Beat UNLV in Wyoming, and even if you don't make the conference title game, you could be looking for your first 10-win seasons with a win in a bowl game since 2019, when they were coached by Nick Rolovich. Alejandro, who is only a redshirt freshman, is thrown for 2,380 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions, also rushing for a touchdown on the ground. Jackson Harris leads the team in receiving with 731 yards and 10 touchdowns as a sophomore, while Ashlock has 633 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. The offense is a pass-heavy offense this season, averaging 302.4 passing yards a game, 407 total yards per game. I love when Hawaii football is good because as a kid, I always had so much fun watching them from Chang to Brennan at quarterback. They were so much fun. I also have family on the island, so that makes it even more special. I hope Timmy can continue to build Hawaii back to the same place they were under June Jones. They're hoping to have their new stadium complete by March of 2029, and things look on the up and up for once. This is a young team that, if they stay together, can accomplish a lot of great things and bring back the island to college football relevance and their golden days. What do you think? Can Hawaii continue to build and possibly make the college football playoffs one day? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.